in the first episode of season 2, where we touched into like the Frankenstein's monster storyline, this one here touches on the King Kong storyline, with Devastator hanging off the side of this building with Optimus Prime in his hand. Hey guys, welcome along to Here's Rodder's Reviews, the show that loves all things entertainment and shares that love with you. I am your host, Rodney Stewart. Right, we're getting on to episode 3 of season 2 of the Transformers. This is City of Steel. This is an incredibly random little episode, but very, very much entertaining at the same time. City of Steel is pretty much Megatron's attempt at building a new Cybertron on Earth by attacking New York City and pretty much turning it into a city of steel. That's what, and the title, it's straight out in Front Street. But a very, very random little episode. The first order of business is they've built themselves a huge Decepticon base below the city, big enough that they're able to actually sink the entirety of the Empire State Building right into the earth. And, you know, in place of that, Megatron builds this huge tower that it's going to be his main headquarters in New Cybertron. While the Autobots try to attack and save New York, Optimus Prime is taken prisoner, and he ends up getting completely dismantled, and his body is turned into this huge, beastly alligator sort of a thing that's roaming the sewers of New York City. That the Constructicons put there to attack the Autobots, and the Autobots made it. They've got no idea that it's actually part of Optimus Prime. They fight it off, trap it on the subway train, and send it off to the ocean, pretty much. Yes, as they're fighting their way through to try and stop Megatron's plans, they come across Optimus Prime's head, which is, you know, alive. He's not dead. And they come across his legs, pretty much up to his shins. So the only thing they have of Optimus Prime is the bottom of his legs, up to his knees and his head. So they have to go track down this beast to get the rest of his body back. So once that happens, they wind up having him built up again. All he's missing now is his right arm, which they discover is on the top of this giant skyscraper that Megatron has built as his base, his headquarters in New York City. So they wind up trying to climb this thing to get Optimus Prime's arm back. His arm has his gun, and Megatron's using that to take out the Autobots. While Optimus Prime, Ironhide, Ratchet, I want to say, are climbing the side of this building to get up there. The Constructicons transform into Devastator. He starts climbing up the tower and grabs hold of Optimus. So, like in the first episode of season 2, where we touched into like the Frankenstein's monster storyline, this one here touches on the King Kong storyline, with Devastator hanging off the side of this building with Optimus Prime in his hand, and Wheeljack attacks him from remote controlled helicopters, and he actually references King Kong. I've seen this old movie, King Kong, this is the way they got him. And of course that attempt lasts for like 2 seconds. The Devastator takes out the helicopters. So yes, Megatron's is controlling Optimus's arm, but Optimus has got the ability to actually control his own limbs by just thinking about it. So Bumblebee and Spike managed to break the control Megatron has over Optimus's arm on top of this building, and Optimus Prime is able to, you know, use the force on his arm to shoot and take out Devastator. The both of them start falling towards their doom, which is never going to happen. In this series of Transformers, like, people get hurt and damaged and completely, like as we see in this episode, completely dismembered. They don't die until, spoilers, Transformers the movie, between seasons 2 and season 3. But that is a devastating scar that we shall talk about at a later date. But yes, by the end of the episode, Megatron gets defeated. The Autobots won as usual, and they save New York City. But there's a lot of stuff going on in this episode that's just like a real fan service sort of an episode. And probably not the best animated episode in the history of the Transformers, but an incredibly random little episode, and there's quite a few funny moments in it as well. It's probably not one of the stronger episodes of season 2, but it is enjoyable. It's well worth watching. Definitely not one to skip over if you're checking out this box set.